6:47 on Daybreak, and this morning we are jogging back your memory on things like the Ice Bucket Challenge, a new Canalside attraction. And do you remember all of those vendors who used to set up outside the stadium at Bills games? Well, they all made news this very week in decades past. Dave McKinley looks back to when they were all first news to you.
10 years ago this week, amid an increasing and insufferable number of ALS Ice Bucket challenges, there was something new creating a buzz at Canalside. Now, take a look at the words viewers used to describe it as we pose this week's News to You pop quiz, which is, what was the new attraction gaining so much reaction this week in 2014? Remember, this was back when the once vacant Webster block was looking like this, when the Delaware North building still looked like this, and when Tim Hortons debuted its Buffalo Crunch donut at the State Fair, drenched in wing sauce and covered in chips. The very same week, the company was purchased by Burger King, an American firm which was attempting to exploit a loophole and declare itself a Canadian company to avoid corporate taxes. This raised eyebrows at the highest levels.
You're just gaming the system. You are an American company.
And Google began testing drones to deliver packages, an idea that's still not come into practical use despite the passage of a decade of time. 20 years ago this week, as the Summer Olympics closed in Athens, the Republican National Convention opened in New York, where the GOP nominated George Bush for a second term as president, a month after the Democrats chose John Kerry as their standard bearer when they did their business in Boston. Meanwhile, back in Buffalo,
the pizzeria is in bad shape.
From the mayor of Buffalo to West Side residents and employees, it's hard to believe what they're seeing.
After a blaze sparked by a cigarette in a trash can nearly destroyed venerable La Nova Pizzeria, whose owners would spend more than $1 million over the next 4.5 months to reopen after the devastating fire there this week in 2004. 30 years ago this week, fans returning for another season of Bills football held a cheeky sense of optimism after the team had appeared in 4 straight Super Bowls.
I'm confident they can lose 5.
They were also checking out the results of the first major overhaul in Rich Stadium's then 21-year history.
Bills fans will enjoy this long-awaited state-of-the-art scoreboard. The Sony Jumbotron is the biggest electronic scoreboard in the country.
There were now premium seats and corporate luxury seats and higher ticket prices and a new ticket surcharge to help pay for it.
The cost of parking has also gone up to $7.
And there were new souvenir stands, which marked the beginning of the end for the little guys who used to hawk their wares outside.
Some upset about letters they're getting from lawyers saying they can no longer peddle their merchandise in areas near Rich Stadium.
Or we can set up if we give them a percentage.
Which is why you don't see them around like you once did prior to this week in 1994, back in the days when it was all news to you.
$7 for parking, those were the days, huh? Okay, so the answer to this week's News to You pop quiz, it was, of course, Shark Girl, who made her debut at Canalside 10 years ago this week in 2014, where she's been a fixture ever since. A very Instagrammable statue there. Created by Cincinnati artist Casey Reardon, the sculpture's popularity surprised even the folks that was once known as the Albright Knox Art Gallery, who sponsored its placement on Buffalo's waterfront. Shark Girl even came with her own Twitter account, although we have noticed that she's not been too active on social media lately.
So is that true that when at Rich Stadium, the Jumbotron, that was the biggest in the country at the time?
At that time.
That's
yeah.
great.
And now it's so tiny.
Now, when you see what's the name of the stadium Dallas plays in? Dan, are you with me? Dallas, the Cowboys.
The Cowboy Stadium, the Dallas Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah, AT&T Stadium. Their Jumbotron is like the size of a runway.
Right.
It goes from like end zone to end zone. It's crazy. Anyway, all right, let's take a look.